Okay, welcome to our new Rep Strong Start call, Wednesday, March 21st. It's or 20th. It's 20th. It's spring, you guys. It's officially spring. And I have to give a plug to spring because I live in Omaha, Nebraska, where we've had I think most of the country's had, or even Canada too, probably has had like a really rough winter. It's been horrible. And the sun is out. And it's like, it actually like birds were chirping when I got home from the gym this morning. And I was like, it's legit spring, finally, which is really exciting because Zaya will have, I mean, we've already seen some of the spring line launch, but we'll continue to see more and more. Like each week, it'll be that spring theme. And I just think it's going to breathe so much life into our business, just like this weather is into our lives, because we're going to keep seeing all the fresh colors and spring designs and swimsuits. I mean, I know it's happening. I just don't know when it's happening. And I have a vision for how amazing it's going to be. So we'll see. But anyway, happy spring was the point of all of that. Okay, so if you were on this call, then you are already on board that Zaya is amazing, right? The point of this call is not to convince you that we have an incredible business opportunity, because you know that you're here, right? Hopefully you're starting to tell people about how amazing you think it is, because it's never too early to do that. But we do that mainly through our Monday night opportunity call, which we have available every week for you to use to plug people into. It might even be how you joined us, through listening to that on one of our Monday night lives. So that's kind of a completely different call. This call is for the people who have said, I'm ready to go. Show me how to get the strongest start humanly possible. Now, hopefully that's you. If that's not you, then know that you can modify the plan. You can go at your own pace. You can work with your upline to create a different plan. But if you joined this business to really hit the ground running and to see what you could do, kind of to give it all you've got, then that's what we're going to tell you how to do with this plan. And I think you'll find that it's really not that complicated, and it's really not that time consuming. It just requires getting out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it's this much for people, sometimes it's this much for people, but it does require getting a little uncomfortable. So you are probably very, very excited right now. We always talk about this when we start these calls, because I think that the mental preparation of being an entrepreneur and running your own business is actually more important than, the tedious task that you're going to do, or the tactical stuff that you're getting ready to do. I think the most important thing that you can do to prepare yourself to launch your business is get right up here and get prepared up here. So right now you're probably excited. You are probably like, yep, I love Zaya. Zaya's awesome. Like, I want to tell everybody about it. Hopefully you've got some of that kind of natural adrenaline and enthusiasm going. You might also be nervous. You might also be like, oh, I feel like I'm going to need to do some things I'm not sure about doing, or I'm kind of nervous about what everybody's going to think. But underlying and all of that kind of anxiety is probably a genuine just excitement. And that is what you want to run with right now. And I've got to tell you, that excitement that you're feeling correlates with where the company is right now. I can't stress to you enough how prime this timing is to be a part of what we're doing. You have joined at the perfect time. We're at the very bottom of an uphill climb of exponential growth, you guys. Like, we really are. Like, when you study business models and phases of businesses, like, this is where we are, and we are getting ready to climb with the company. So my one piece of advice to you is, don't waste any time. Like, you want to be a part of that. You want to take full advantage of that. I mean, Kelly and I joke all the time, but we wish, if we would have found this company 2 years ago, like when it was just getting started, holy cow. I mean, obviously that would have been really scary, right? But can you even imagine? But we're still in that. We're still in that situation where we are so unique in the sense that we have this incredible opportunity. So you want to take the fact that that's where the company is, and you want to take all that excitement that you're feeling in starting your own personal business, and you want to work with it as fast as you can. Now, there's something else that you need to know about the natural flow of starting your own business. And this is not to be a Debbie Downer, but I got to tell you, this like fun excitement phase, it is going to cease at some point, probably sooner than later. It doesn't mean it's going to be gone forever. It doesn't mean it's going to like totally, plummet you to where you don't even feel like getting up again. But you are going to experience a setback, and you're going to experience what we call the first brick wall. And it's when you feel like you're going in your business and you're so excited and everything's awesome and you're loving what you're doing, and then you feel like you hit a wall and you feel like you've lost momentum and something takes the wind out of you. And this might be a party that ends up being a bust. It might be somebody who said she was going to join your team and she changes her mind. It might be a family member who you thought was going to support you and she's not showing any interest. One or all of those things could happen to you. I can tell you they've all happened to me in all of my business endeavors, well, both of my business endeavors. I've experienced all of those things. They're normal. They are a natural part of business, and they're not everybody. And you get through it and you get past it, and sure, it'll probably happen again. But the one thing I can tell you is the more prepared you are for that to happen, the better it's going to be. The less it's going to damage you, the less it's going to paralyze you, the quicker you're going to get through it. Because the key to that brick wall, when you hit that wall, when you're like, I mean, I always say this, that I can't think of a better term. It's like the oh crap moment. It's like, what have I done? Should I be here? Have I done the right thing? You are probably going to feel that. Maybe you already have. Who knows? When you get there, you have to recognize, okay, Kim said this is normal. Everybody does this. This is normal. My upline's been here. Kim's been here. Okay, this is good, because what happens once you get to that spot? If you put your head down and you invest in your business, if you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you lean on your upline for support, if you trust the system, then you invest in your business. And on the other side of that wall is a beautiful phase of growth. That is a natural stage of business. It's what happens. The thing about our industry is so many people hit the wall and it knocks them down permanently. So many people hit the wall and they turn around and they're like, peace out. I'm not cut out for this, or this isn't worth it. They have some kind of reaction like that, which is what causes this turnover rate that we see in direct sales. What I can assure you is that if you invest at that moment and you stick it out, you will grow on the other side of it. There will be a payout and you will get what you're looking for. So everything I just said, just make a mental note of it and be prepared for it, okay? Because I don't want to sound like a know-it-all. That's actually like the last thing I think I am. But I do think I know this. I do think I know that this is what happens when you start a business. And the more prepared you can be for that, the better. Now, a way that we feel like we can help you prepare for that is getting in touch with your why. If you are not in touch with your why, the why is the reason why you are in this business, the reason why you are willing to step out of your comfort zone, the reason why that brick wall is going to be worth it. That why is the most important thing. That why has to be bigger than it seems like fun, or I like money, or the clothes are cute. That why is different for everybody, but it has to be something that makes it worth it. And Kelly Olin, if you haven't met her yet, she's an incredible leader on our team. She did an awesome training on vision. And part of vision is truly understanding your why. And I am going to encourage you guys to watch that video, for that to be the next thing you do when you get off this call. Watch that video, figure out what your why is. You might think it's too soon. You might think that you don't have one yet. You do. You definitely do, because you would not have purchased that kit and signed up for this opportunity had you not had that reason, that that burning desire inside of you that maybe you haven't even said out loud yet. That's what you got to get in touch with, because that's the thing that's going to pull you through the wall and get you to the other side. And you need to find that reason, post it, like on a Post-it note, or maybe on a poster. Look, I'm like a Post-it note kind of girl. I'm kind of like as easy as it can get. That's how I want to do it. But there are people who make vision boards. There are people who take their why and put it in a beautiful picture, a beautiful quote. Do whatever you need to do for that why to speak to you, and put it in your workspace, wherever you're working, so that you see it on a regular basis. So every time you hit a speed bump or when you hit that wall, you look at it and you're like, yep, that's it. Okay, so leading up to this, I haven't really talked about anything technical yet, but there's one more thing I want you to know before we get into that. And there are really two characteristics that we believe make somebody successful in launching their business, and really in just running a business like this in general. The first one is being coachable, and the second one is being consistent. So you want to write those words down. You want to ingrain those words in your brain too, because if you can master being coachable and being consistent, you can do this for sure. And you'll notice they're not difficult words. You know, it's not like you've got to be like super intelligent or super talented. You actually don't have to be either of those things to be good at what we do. What you have to do is you have to be willing to learn. And like I said, you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. You have to trust the system. You are going to doubt the system, you guys. You are. I doubt the system all the time. And even the system that we've created, sometimes I doubt it, you know, just human nature. Like when it doesn't go my way for like 1 second, I'm like, does this work? And then I remember that you got to put your head down and you have got to do it for more than five hot seconds to get what you want, right? And that's the consistency piece. We are not a get rich quick scheme. I always say I didn't start Zaya on October 1st and wake up on October 2nd with 10 grand in my bank account. Like it doesn't happen that way, right? Like this is a real business. You're a real entrepreneur. Granted, you have very little startup cost, which makes it even more amazing, right? But you still have to put in the work. And that's where the consistency comes in. The more time that you put into it, the more consistent you are, the more you trust the system, the more you look to your upline for best practices, the more that you are willing to grow in that sense, the faster you're going to get what you want. So coachable and consistent. So let's just recap what we've talked about so far. The main takeaways are be prepared for this brick wall experience. The way that you can be prepared for that is by knowing your why, and then be ready to commit to being coachable and consistent. Those are the keys so far. Okay, so let's talk about you're ready to actually launch. You got to get the word out there that you've got a new business, right? And that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this call. Now, there are really kind of two pieces to your launch. There is your in-person launch and there is your social media launch. Now, I'm going to briefly talk about like a Facebook party as part of your launch, but a lot of what we're going to talk about today has to do with your in-person launch. We believe strongly that it's just easier to do this business in person. Now, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I love that we can run our business online. However, I also believe that you can be more effective in a shorter amount of time in person. So you take with that what you want. That doesn't mean that you have to do an in-person launch, but if you want to get the most out of your business, we highly recommend that you do, because there is nothing like getting in front of real, breathing humans, letting them touch your product, letting them see the enthusiasm on your face, having a real conversation with them and connecting with them to get to a desirable end result faster. There are a lot of really amazing things that we do on social media. We can market ourselves on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see all of us that are training in our organization doing that. We believe in that. You'll also see us doing Facebook parties and Facebook events. But you'll also see us doing these live in-person events because we just think they are just too easy and too effective not to do it. So that's why we recommend that you launch your business with a combination of your in-person events and a Facebook party. So we'll kind of get to the details of that in a second. But first things first, you need to figure out who you're going to tell Zaya about, right? So your first to-do in terms of a launch, a technical to-do, is to create a contact list. Now, Zaya Threads is our training website. If you have not been on Zaya Threads yet, it's amazing. It's a wealth of information. Kelly put it together. She organized it all. We have added to it. We have taken all the best practices from Zaya and put them in there. We have taken our sales experience and put our spin on things and put it in there. It's where we recommend you go to find everything you need for starting your new business. Now, on Zaya Threads, you will see a tab called Business Setup. Business Setup, the first couple of steps in that are things like setting up your back office, using your $200 gift card. Those are really important and helpful things. But what we're going to start talking about today is what comes after that, which is inviting people to your launch party. So you'll see in the next step a section about a contact list. You can actually download a contact list. You can print it off. You can find all these memory joggers and ideas for, okay, who am I going to add to this list? Who do I need to put on here? The short answer to that is everyone. everyone who you think could benefit from hearing about Zaya, the product, the opportunity, anybody who would make an incredible host, anybody who you know who wears activewear, pretty much everybody, right? Who has an active or fit lifestyle. All these people are going on this list. And don't think that they have to be your closest friends and family. Like the people that we're putting on this list can be an acquaintance, somebody who from the gym who you're not even sure what their name is. You definitely don't know their last name, but you talk to them occasionally, somebody from school pickup like that, whatever it is, whoever it is, if they cross your mind as, oh man, I think she'd love this, she's going on the list, or he, of course. So this document is so important. This is kind of like the lifeline of your business. It's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to change. It's so important that you're paying attention to it, adding to it, and using it to share Zaya from the very beginning. Okay, so what we're going to do with this list is, this is the list of everybody that you want to invite, right? But I also want to plant a seed for you that this list also includes probably your first handful of recruits, whether you realize it or not, and your first host. So start thinking about, as you're looking at this list, who would I love to have host for me from this list? Who would introduce me to a great network of people? Who would I love to work with? Who would be awesome at this? Who could use an opportunity like this? Who's looking for part-time money? Who's really, gifted in maybe just in people skills, or who's already in the fitness industry? Like, start getting your wheels spinning in that way, because what we do is we sell activewear, but what we offer is so much broader than that. And you have to be thinking about that from day one. Like, you don't just sell leggings. You have an incredible business opportunity that can and will change people's lives who you encounter. In 6 months, this business has changed my life. Like, it has. I can't even imagine what's going to happen in the next 6 months. I bet a lot of you on this call feel the exact same way. That is powerful, and you have that to share with people. So don't sell what you do short. Yeah, you're launching a business and you're going to sell the product, and that's really cool. But the booking and the opportunity piece are the pieces that lead you to more people and an opportunity to help more people on a much grander scale. So start looking at this list and thinking about who those people are, who your dream team list to work with is, who your dream host would be, and just start getting yourself into that mindset. Okay, now what you're going to actually do is you're going to begin inviting, right? So what are you inviting people to? Well, our recommendation is that you have a double in-person launch party. And you don't have to call it a party. You can call it a pop-up. You can call it a sip and shop. You can call it a shopping event. You can make up your own name for it. You can call it whatever you want. A lot of us use the word sip and shop because we think they sound fun, casual. A lot of people use pop-up. I say the word party in training a lot just because I'm from the party industry, and we realize that at the bottom of what we're doing, it's a home party. But you don't have to use that word if you're uncomfortable with it. But what you're doing is you're choosing 2 dates that are hopefully close to one another. They don't have to be back to back. They could be. But really what you're doing is you're opening up an opportunity for when you invite somebody to your launch. If they can't make one time, they have a second option. For me, I picked 2 times of day in one day. Like, I picked 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night, because I have a pretty large network of people around me who are home during the day. And I had, half my crew stop by in the morning and half in the evening. A lot of people pick 2 nights in 1 week, or a Friday night and a Saturday morning, or a Sunday afternoon and a Tuesday night. The key to this is making it something that's going to work for you. Make it something that works for your family. Make it a time where you can execute the invitation list, where you can execute the party, where you're not putting yourself in a bind, basically. I will say sooner than later is better. And you're probably going to be kind of resistant to that too. But all the excitement and energy that you have right now, you are not going to be an expert in Zaya when you have your launch party, whether you do it next week or a month from now. I promise. 6 months later, I'm still not an expert in Zaya. I'm ordering those gray leggings like everybody else last week and praying that they're going to fit me, right? Like, no matter what happens, you're not going to have sizing down for all of the products. You can start educating yourself, but nobody expects you to be an expert. You are literally just getting your business started. So what I recommend you do is get your launch party scheduled so you can dive in and work with the excitement. Don't worry about everything else and all those details. Okay, so we're inviting people, we're giving them the option to come to either Monday night or Wednesday night. If somebody can't make either of those dates, that's when we have a cool opportunity to follow up our live launch with your virtual, like your Facebook party launch, essentially. And we actually recommend that you do that right after your double launch, as close to it as you can. And it's a way to plug in all of your out of town guests. It's also a way to plug in anybody who couldn't make it to your set of 2 parties. Now, this online launch, we are kind of working with ways to perfect it and make it easier for you. But the bottom line is, it's really just planting seeds. It's really just getting the word out that this is what you're doing. Sometimes the online launch yields great sales, sometimes it doesn't. I'll tell you, my online launch didn't yield, I don't even know if I sold anything, to be honest with you. My in-person launch was fantastic. My online launch, I feel like people were just there to kind of figure it out. Like, what is this? What is she doing? What's she up to? A lot of them ended up posting, joining my team, buying stuff later. Like, it was 100% worth it, but it wasn't like immediate gratification. So I'll tell you, I think that's kind of a theme with the online launch portion. So just be prepared for that and just know that you're planting seeds for the future. Okay, the other thing to think about is at your launch party, sales are going to be amazing, right? Just like I said with the online launch, it's great if you get sales, but more importantly, if you meet your first host, which you will, that way, if you meet your first team members, it's a way bigger deal. It's worth way more money than sales. So just think bigger whenever you're thinking about a successful launch as well, about your definition of it. So as far as examples for invitations, there are examples on Zaya Threads for how you can invite. Do whatever you're comfortable with. Ask your upline how she invites, what she recommends. Have her share an example with you of an invitation. You'll see the back office can be used, Evite can be used, Facebook can be used. You're going to use whatever you think you can manage and whatever you think will be most effective for your network of people. It's different for all of us, to be honest with you. So talk to your upline and kind of talk about the options and what you think would be best. Look through them, go with your gut, and just know that things can be revised and changed as you go. Now, as far as your first host go, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but it's never too soon to start thinking about who your first additional host will be. Obviously, you're going to do this launch party, but you might already have people in mind that you think would be incredible to help you get your business off the ground. It's not too early to ask them if they're interested in being your first host. In fact, I think to get the strongest start possible, after you book 5 of these, you kind of have your solid foundation to your business. So you've got your launch party plus your first 5 parties, and I feel like that is your startup phase right there. The sooner you do that, the sooner you're moving and rolling, and you've got a full customer base and people that are excited on Wednesdays and ready to go. So those additional hosts, there's actually verbiage on Zaya Threads for what you can say to them, but here's the biggest piece of advice I can give you on that. In-person conversation is so effective when you are trying to get your business started. I realize people don't really answer the phone a ton anymore. There's not a lot of phone conversation that happens, but a lot of these first hosts are probably people that you encounter in person or you could encounter in person. And to be able to just talk to these people and tell them how excited you are about your business, what your dreams are with it, how you can't wait to get started and share it with people, how awesome the product is. Once somebody hears you say that, and then they hear you say, so my first goal is to find my first 5 bookings, like my first 5 pop-up events. And I thought you might be interested in getting some free stuff and being one of my first hosts. That is so much more effective in person than in writing, because these are likely people who do want to help you get started. And you're not really asking for a favor. They're going to get tons of free host credit. Our hosts are so happy after their events. But you do have to kind of put yourself out there in a sense of letting them know how meaningful it would be to you and how fun you think it could be too. So I feel like that's best conveyed through conversation and talking to people. So if you can pick up the phone or find that person in person and actually have that conversation with them, I bet you can have those first bookings, like where you're kind of moving seamlessly from your launch party into your first parties very easily. Okay, so there you go. All that wrapped into one is really how you get started. So I'm going to give you your first 4 to-dos. This is like your recap of today. The first is watch Kelly's vision video and write your why in your workspace. The second is work on that contact list. You want a broad, at least 100 names on that contact list. The third is set your dates and then invite people. Set dates, invite. And the fourth is start talking to those additional hosts. Some of those will come from your launch party, but I bet you could get some of those booked before then. And there's some really good notes on how to do that on Zaya Threads, like I said, but I don't think you'll regret it. I don't think you'll regret getting a jump start on getting your first host. As I mentioned before, don't worry about what actually happens at the party. We're going to cover that with you later. There's tons of resources on Zaya Threads for that. Just get the people excited to get there, because that's the most important thing. Without people, there is no party. And your sponsor is totally here. Your upline sponsor, they're here to help you with that. And actually, you're going to want to let them know you listen to this call. So shoot them a text message and say, yep, I made it to the Strong Start call. Let's connect. I'm ready for what comes next. So make sure you text them now too. And then one more note about social media. You will notice I didn't talk about like Facebook business pages or Instagram business pages. Like I said, they're important parts of what we do, 100%. There's lots of resources on Zaya Threads for getting those things set up. You can actually link them to one another. I recommend that. I think that's important, and I think it's important to do sooner than later, but I think actually your launch is even more important. So once you feel like you have a handle on your launch, of course, start working on your social media accounts. Start putting yourself out there. Like one of the ways that you're going to attract people who want to come is by utilizing social media. So you want to get those accounts set up, but you don't want that to overshadow the planning of this actual formal launch of your business. So utilize the resources on Zaya Threads for that too. So that is everything I have for you today. Thank you. Thank you so much for choosing our Zaya Revolution family as the place where you're going to grow your business. Like we love, love, love what we do. We love getting to work with new people. We know you could have enrolled with a million other teams. Well, not a million, but you had other options, I'm sure. And we're so, so happy that you picked Zaya Revolution, because we are a really incredible community of people. And I would love, and by that, I mean, not that I'm incredible, but everybody I work with, they really are incredible and uplifting and motivating. And I can't even stress enough, the culture that we have in our team to just build each other up is beautiful. So hop on our team page if you haven't already. Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, where you're from. We encourage that people go live as often as possible. A lot of people don't love going live, but we love seeing it. So hop on there when you get like one spare second and just say like, hey, I'm Janice, or hey, I'm Jose. And I just want to introduce myself. I'm so excited to be here. I'm launching my business next week or in a couple of weeks or whenever it is. And I'm just super excited to grow with all of you. Whatever, let us know who you are. But that's it for today. So I'm going to stop the recording here really quick.